Hey guys, welcome to today's Vehicle Visionary. Today we're going to take a look at the 2021 version of the Toyota Highlander, the XLE trim level, which is a new addition for the 2021 model year. If you're wondering what's new, well, basically that's what it is. Since the Highlander received a full redesign for the 2020 model year, there aren't any major changes other than this addition to the lineup for 2021. I borrowed this model from my friends at Yoakum Toyota here in Shreveport, Louisiana. We're going to take a quick look at what you can expect if this is something you wish to buy. One of the big advantages to the Highlander is a smooth ride and comfortable seating throughout. And here under the hood, well, not exactly hurting for horsepower. It's the 3.5 liter V6, 295 horsepower, and I'll put all the other information on the screen for you. And just an overall nice look. LED headlights, fog lights, you got the LED tail lights as well. Heated side view mirrors, that's always a good thing, heated power side view mirrors. And before anybody asks in the comments, I'll make sure to say it here, yes, it does come with turn signal indicators built into those side view mirrors. 18-inch alloy wheels. And while this is not an SUV that sits very high off the ground, it does have the side steps to make getting out a little bit easier if that's desired by driver and passenger, but it's definitely not something that you have to use because, like I said, the ride height, not all that terribly high, but high enough to definitely have advantages when needed if there's a little bit of higher water to drive through or maybe snow and ice, something like that. If you've never had that experience, once people drive and put tracks on the road, you don't want to be driving around in a vehicle that's low to the ground, or really period in that respect, but especially if it freezes up, you can damage the underside of your vehicle, something that most likely won't be an issue here. And we'll talk a little bit more about driving modes when we get into the interior shortly. And if you're wondering about the exterior color, it's ruby flare metallic. And just in case you're wondering about what the remote looks like, we'll give you a quick look at that. If you already see or have seen the remote from the 2020 model, well, then basically you already know. And you do have the roof rails. There is a conventional size sunroof, not panoramic, but it is there nonetheless. And I do like the design of the rear roof spoiler here. If you want to know, here are all of the trim levels available for the Highlander and their base prices. And I will go ahead and open the power rear door here, which you can do with multiple different methods, whether it's the remote like I just did. Of course, there's a button here on the door itself, the rear door itself, and of course in the interior. And if you're wondering about a spare tire, does it come with a spare tire or one of those tire repair kits? I'll answer that question with a good shot of the undercarriage of this vehicle, something you might not think about seeing in a car review video, but here it is, and you now have the answer to whether or not there is a spare tire available on this vehicle. And I'll put the cargo numbers on the screen. Of course, you can lower these rear seats to maximize cargo space. You have a little more storage here underneath. And when it comes to the back seat, well, it's probably best third row to put the kids back there, unless you just don't have very long legs. But like I said, the interior is comfortable and the front and middle rows are spacious. It's very easy to gain access to all of that. And underneath the floor here, not only the tools to change a tire, a little bit of storage space, but also a cargo cover that you can stow away if you want to, or you can lower these rear seats. And there are places to mount the cargo cover on each side of the interior if you wish to use that. And here on the interior, you're going to find a spacious door bin here. Overall, a very nice design. The contrast of colors here, I think, is very tasteful. And if your rear seat passengers or middle seat passengers wish to use it, you do have a window shade on each door on the driver and passenger side. And let me just hop in here real quick so I can show you how how I fit basically. We'll close that door just to try and maybe cut down on the glare a little bit. 5'10", you can kind of see I do have, well, enough headroom to definitely take care of things. One thing that I do find kind of interesting here is that the air conditioning vents are literally in your face. Kind of an interesting thing. But hey, if you've been out working hard, or maybe you're really cold depending on the temperature outside, well, that might be very useful to have coming right down on you. But the good news, of course, you can close that. And this is tri-zone climate control. You do have the controls for the rear seat air conditioning back here on the back of the console. Also got some connectivity down there, a couple of cup holders right here in the middle. And just to show how easy it is to get these seats out of the way for your rear seat passengers, well, all you have to do is that. It's super simple. There's a latch here on the side of the seats, and if somebody happens to forget and hop out and leave anybody stranded back there, there's also a handle on top of the seat that can be used, well, by anybody who wants to hop back there or hop out. You can use either one of those options. But overall, there is a decent amount of space back here. But let's get to the real business area of the Highlander, the front seat. And with it being a very humid day, I'm happy to start up the engine and get the air conditioning running here. Make sure the fan speed isn't too high. But like I said, you got tri-zone climate control, so that means you've got dual zone here in the front. You can sync those together if you wish to do so. But overall, the seat's very comfortable here in the interior, I must say. That's one of the biggest pluses of the Highlander, is the smooth ride and the comfortable seats. Because I've been in vehicles before that would compete with the Highlander and just other vehicles in general, where you have a smooth ride, but the seats aren't very comfortable, and that kind of almost defeats the purpose in a way, because it really takes away from the experience. As far as safety features go, you've got Toyota Safety Sense 2.5 Plus. I'll list a partial list of those on the screen, but remember, as long as this Highlander stays in inventory at Yoakum Toyota, there's always a link down in the description of the video that you can click on and get the details that I don't cover in the video, so we don't make it too terribly long. And just an overall look here at the dashboard. You've got your controls for the blinkers and your headlights here on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, and of course everything for the windshield wipers front and rear on the right side of the steering wheel. Your steering wheel mounted controls here, all the typical things you would expect to see. The infotainment screen, of course, everything that you would expect to find there. And I'll give you a look at the rear view camera, something that you're not going to ever have to get again, at least not anytime soon, I don't imagine. I don't know if it'll ever change, but as an option, that is a standard feature. For those who may not know why I say that, by the year 2020, all vehicles in the United States, at least, were required to have a backup camera or a rear view camera. And all your controls here for the air conditioning and all that good stuff. You do have heated seats. Sorry for my friends who live in the South, you don't have ventilated seats here right now this time of year, and for the next few months, obviously that's something we're going to want. And you've got more connectivity down here, a little bit of storage, and you might wonder, wireless charging, I don't see that. I'll show you where that is in just a second. Show you the cup holders here. You've got your power parking brake hold mode. You've got the selector here for your multiple driving modes I mentioned earlier. You've got Eco, Normal, and Sport. Everything pretty easy to figure out. You also have a snow mode. So that's going to be very helpful as far as if you live up north, or maybe if you're thinking, you know, I need a vehicle just in case we have another big snowstorm like we did across the South a few months ago. Well, you've got snow mode here, and also there on the far right hand side, you can turn the auto stop start feature off if you want to save the life of your starter. Also traction control. Now, you don't have a lid that tilts up for your console here. It actually slides back, kind of like a garage door almost. At least it makes me think of that. And when you open that, there is your wireless charging pad. So it is there, and you can even conceal your phone away if you want to. And you can open that to gain access to the, well, what really is, it may not look like it, but that is a very deep console if you wish to use that for storage purposes, of course. How deep is that? I'd say you could easily fit a good probably 6 to 8 Vehicle Visionary t-shirts in there if you want to. And of course, I mentioned the fact that you do have the sunroof right here, the conventional size sunroof. The controls for that found here on the upper console. But one thing we need to do is get out on the road, and we'll talk a little bit more about the driving experience of this Highlander. Okay guys, let's get out on the road real quick here and do our test drive. Believe it or not, for those of you who watch me regularly, that's the first time I think I said okay guys in this video. I'm trying to cut back on that some. Even surprisingly, nobody said anything about that. But as we get out here to do our test drive, one thing, if you didn't see it earlier in the video, I show the price when I show the screenshot from the dealership website. But if you didn't happen to see that, what is the price on this model? It is $43,600. At least that's what's on the sticker. Let's hope we're not going to get any interesting driving experiences here with this garbage truck on the side of the road. Hopefully nobody's going to come out into our lane. Thankfully they're not. That would not be the best way to get a viral video, I don't think, but it didn't happen. But in Shreveport, you never know. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled program. What is the driving experience like with this model of Toyota? Like I said, the driving experience, the ride quality, very smooth. The seats themselves, very comfortable. And the steering wheel is comfortable, good and responsive. And I have done driving in a couple of different modes. And when you step into sport mode, there is a difference when you start to gain some RPM. Maybe not initially. I'm not using the Draggy today to see about a 0 to 60 test, but just in case you're curious to know, can you tell a difference when it comes to driving in sport mode compared to maybe normal or eco? Haven't tried eco, but you can definitely tell a difference between normal and sport. So like I said, that does take getting a little bit of RPM going, but when you start to get that higher RPM, you definitely notice a difference. And one thing I like here as well is the fact that the side view mirrors seem to be a little bit larger than what you might normally see on this class of SUV. That means obviously better visibility, and you don't have to work so much at trying to get the absolute perfect setting depending on who's driving. Like I mentioned earlier, heated power side view mirrors, so that's obviously a big advantage. Those of you who are always asking me about the turn signal indicators being built into the side view mirrors, well, it's there. And overall, one of the biggest advantages, in my personal opinion, to the Highlander is the fact that it's very easy to see out of. So the driver doesn't really have to concern themselves with a bad blind spot. But even at that, of course, you've got all the driving aids to help keep the driver and passenger good and safe while driving out on the road. Makes it for a very enjoyable experience. And that is a quick tour and test drive of the 2021 Toyota Highlander. Got to say a special thanks to my friends at Yoakum Toyota for loaning me this model for the day, and all of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch and give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye. So, as far as safety features go, of course, you've got Honda. I'll start over again.